Yo, welcome to the Vibe Provider podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin Friel, and we got a good episode for you today. We got some tea. We got bad first dates today. But before we get into the topic, I always do a life update, current hyperfixation, and then I'll tell you all the stories. But guys, this week was feeling so good. I was on top of everything. It's like the first time in a while that I felt like things were just going and I was getting them done. And then today happened, Friday. That's why this episode's coming out late. I realized I didn't have a podcast episode recorded and uploaded. So that kind of threw me. And then that's probably why I was feeling so good getting things done, because I was not doing all the things I thought I was doing or that I should have gotten done. But our washer broke, and so we had a repair guy come out and look at it, and he gave us an estimate, and it wasn't what was wrong was not that crazy. He said it's gonna be $751, and I was like, sir, I can go buy a brand new washer for that. And he was like, yeah, you totally could. Yeah. And he was pulling up washers, showing me what to buy. And I was like, okay, wow, this is crazy. So just putting it out there, Samsung washers are not the best. He said sometimes Samsung stops making parts after 2 years, and that their washers really only last 2 to 4 years. And so we're in that 3.5 year window. So I was kind of lame, but he did say Kenmore and Whirlpool are the best that he recommended. So I think that's going to be our next purchase, is a Whirlpool or Kenmore washer. But man, it's so convenient to have a working washer. But since it's been broke, I've been going to the laundromat, and that's a love-hate thing too. I loved just taking everything and putting it all in washers and just have it going all at the same time. So instead of doing laundry all day long, it only took 2-ish hours. But this is when things took a turn. You can pay by card now for washing and drying your clothes, which was crazy. But of course it wasn't working, and I was changing washers, but it was frustrating because it said to have everything ready to go and on your settings before you pay. I'd have my detergent in there already, and then it wouldn't work. So I'd switch a washer. So I used 3 times as much detergent than I would have usually used. And I put $8 of coins in a washer, and it didn't even count any money. So I was like, okay, wow, this is getting pricey, and I'm not even getting clean clothes out of this. But once we got going and we figured out how to pay, I loved it. But then I also wasn't counting up the money in my head because I swiped my card. Now it's not my problem. But that was pretty pricey, and I didn't realize. But I went back again today. So I went back again today. I was washing some bedding. You know how bedding is. It's a deal. It's a lot. It takes a long time to dry, and I get it all washed. I get it all folded. I get home, and detergent spills on my clean bedding that I just spent $20 to wash and dry. But you can't be mad because it's an accident, And so we're just living and breathing, Oh man. And that was during the time when I realized I didn't have a podcast episode for today. So your girl's just trying her best. But anyways, so that's the washer / laundromat news that I had. It'd be pricey. It cost us $7.50 to wash a load of clothes. That's outrageous. But to dry, it was 25 cents for 6 minutes. So I felt like that was a deal. So we were getting some deals. We weren't getting some deals. But I can't believe I spent about $20 to wash my bedding, and then I gotta go back and wash it again. Oh man. But we're living and breathing, people. Um, okay, but on like a better note, it's been a good week. I literally have been so productive getting things done, and it's been a really long time since I felt that way. So I've been feeling like I'm on top of the world. But we just had to get a little bit humbled today and be like, LOL, don't get crazy. But we did have a good week. I went to a cowgirl tea party birthday event for some influencers, and it was so fun. It was fun to have a reason to get dressed up. It was fun to go and see friends. I got to see Alyssa Johnson, her husband Dallin, which is his birthday today. So happy birthday, Dallin, and their baby Lena. Lena is so darling. She's so cute. It was so good to see them. It was very brief, and so I wish I would have gotten there earlier to be able to spend time with them. But I was late, and the hat line was long, which I'll tell you about. And then I got to see Betsy, Boston, and Gentry, and it was so good to see them. Luckily, I get to see them again tonight at a Bees baseball game. I'm just doing like some photos and video for Betsy's company, Betty's. They're having like an employee night at the baseball game, so that's gonna be so fun. Betty's always makes everything so fun for their employees, which is so cool. I used to work for Betty's, and I can tell ya, it was a blast. The most fun job. I totally recommend working at Betty's if you are in the market for a job. And even if, I have zero clue if they're even hiring, but it's a great work environment. Anyway, so that's tonight, and it was so good to see them at this event. But it was for Goldie Lou, and it's a clothing slash jewelry slash hat company, and it's like Western wear, and it's so cute. Everything is so cute. It's, if you know Betsy Mikesell, it's like very much her style. But Jaslyn Field is actually who owns it. It's her style as well. She is darling. She is the most best dressed. Her and Betsy are both best dressed, in my opinion. But so I got to see Jaslyn and her husband Chad, and there she was throwing the event. So she was caught up in talking to all her guests, but she made it a point to like say hello, and she's just darling. So it was so nice to feel included in that, and it ended up being the most fun night. So we show up and we get in line to make hats, customize your own cowgirl hat. And while in line, you're passing like this beautiful charcuterie setup, and then they had a soda bar, and then once we passed those two things, then we got up to where like they gave you a hat, and then you went over to the hat bar, and they molded it into a cowgirl hat right there. So the brim was flat, the hat part was domed, and then they like pressed it or like pushed it into the form of a cowgirl hat, which was so cool. And then once that was finished, then you went and customized it, and they had like hat bands, and I got this cute patchwork one, and it matched my dress actually, and I had no idea, and it was just so cute. When I put that cowgirl hat on, I instantly felt my personality changed. I am now moving out of the suburbs, out of the city to the countryside, and I will be a cowgirl. It was so fun. Everyone looked amazing. All the guests were in Western wear. I tried my very best. I had like some white mini cowgirl boots that were like from Free People, and I don't know if they even count, but I wore them, and I felt so cute in Western myself. Um, there was a bouquet bar. So as soon as you got your hat, you went over and like made a bouquet, and it made like a fun little prop for photos, which I had to get a couple photos of my new hat. It's actually on my Instagram, at Caitlin Friel, if you want to see how the night went. I made a little reel about the whole night. So um but yeah, that was a freaking blast. It was fun to have a reason to get dressed up, because that is not something common for me, is getting dressed up. So, but another thing that we did, me and Kala, my husband, we drove up a canyon near us, and we went and did like a cold plunge, which I also posted about on my Instagram at Caitlin Friel. And it was so fun. And we walked up, we went in our swimsuits, and we got in, and it was freezing cold, and it was so fun. And we like talked about it on the way home, like we should do this more. But yeah, I don't really know the benefits of doing a cold plunge, but I know there's tons. So if you want to look into it, me and Claw had a blast. We just went to a freezing cold river in the mountains. But other than that, I've just been working on photography and doing photos for family and friends of friends. And it's been going well. I've been on top of it and getting all my photos back to my clients. And yeah, it's been nice. It's just been like a regular week with like a few hiccups, but what do you do, you know? But we leave for Hawaii tomorrow with two friends. Our friends, Megan and Thomas, they are a freaking blast. They are so funny. And we're going to Hawaii with them. And we're just going to have the best time eating and going to the beach. And we're going to go to Aulani. We're not staying there, but we're just going. We're going to go buy merch, Disney merch, because they are Disney adults as well. But anyways, I won't talk too much about Hawaii because I'll fill you in next week. We are going to just be having the best time of our lives. So I can't wait to report on that next week for you guys. And hopefully I won't forget about having a podcast. But moving into our current hyperfixations, I think I talked about this last week, scrapbooking. I want to get into scrapbooking. And I follow this girl, Ashley Ray, with a lot of ease. And she has been making reels on Instagram about her scrapbooking. And she is pro. She is creative. She's also a photographer. So you know her photos are just darling and perfect and just so aesthetic. And the way she scrapbooks is so cute. And it's just making me really want to scrapbook. But the thing about me is I can start a project, but I never finish projects. And so that's a little thing I'm worried about is spending all this money on scrapbooking materials and then like not end up doing it or like finishing it. So I've been going back and forth. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But loving photos myself, I want to print them out. Like, on my phone is not good enough. I want a hard copy. So I guess this is me leaning towards yes, but who knows? The thought of starting a project and not finishing it like hurts the soul, you know? Like, I just can't do that to myself. So I really need to be committed. And I don't know how to tell myself I'm committed. Like, I don't believe myself, you know? So anyways, that's a little bit weird thing. Oh, okay, guys. Another thing, I was hyperfixated on were the Zeb-Zag suede slingback platform mules. They're Doc Martens, and they're like, yeah, a mule where you like slip them on, like kind of like a clog. And they had this purple color last year, and they went viral, and they sold out. And I did not have a chance to purchase before I realized I did love and I did need. And so that was last fall. And I just saw them restocked online. But there's a Doc Martens store in the mall near me. And I called them and I was like, hi, do you have the Zeb-Zag suede slingback platform mule in muted purple? And he was like, no, they went viral last fall. We haven't had them in stock in about a year, whatever. He was like telling me his spiel and how he had other mules I would love. And I was like, sir, I didn't say this because, you know, I'm just like, oh yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. But no, in my head, I was like, sir, I need the muted purple and that's all. You can't sell me on anything else. I have been fixated on these I've been hyper fixated on these since last fall. Like, I checked to see if they were back in stock. I signed up for notifications, which I didn't get. Anyways, but so they didn't, because I wanted them right here, right now. But let me go get them from the Doc Martens store. But they didn't have them. So I got online and I purchased because your girl doesn't live with regrets. So I'm so excited to get them in the mail. But I feel like I'm like a fun color. Well, you can't really tell right now if you're watching the YouTube channel because I'm just wearing a white shirt and jean shorts. But your girl loves color. Last year, I was wearing color. But I feel like things are going back to browns and creams and muted tones and our neutral vibes, our neutral queens. And so I'm a little worried because I'd be buying all this color and now are we neutral queens? I don't know. So I bought the purple because they're darling, they're cute, they're going to be so spunky, they're going to add flair. So even if everyone's being neutral, I'm still wearing the color because your girl invested in a colorful wardrobe. You know what I mean? But I'm so excited to get them. I cannot wait to tell you how they fit, how cute they are. I do love a platform. I love a platform. So I'm excited to get those. But those are like the two things I've been fixated on. Should I scrapbook? Should I not scrapbook? And then your girl did not hesitate on the muted purple mules from Doc Martens. So they should look so cute with jeans. I can't wait to show you and tell you about them. Okay, but that is it for current hyperfixation and life update and all of that jazz. So now it's time for topic time. And today's topic is bad first dates. And I have my own bad first date, which I'll share at the end. So I'm reading my friends, family, listeners' stories. First one, driving in the canyon, blasting rap music, and spent the whole time talking about his car. We got a car, bro. Which is funny because this friend of mine married a guy who's like into cars. Okay, next. Took me to Starbucks, was annoyed by what I got, and then drove me up and down Logan. So Logan is a town in Utah, and there's like a main street, and you can just like go up and down on this main street. So that sounds like an absolutely terrible time. This friend put, probably going on a date with my now ex-husband, LOL. Oh my gosh, that's wild. That your worst first date is now your ex-husband. The tea. I wish she would have said what the date was. Okay, next. He brought his parents and then his mom started planning our wedding. Girl, that is so scary. What? See, when I have people type in question boxes, I feel like I need to follow up and be like, was he at least a friend before this first date? Or are we going in blind? And that these parents we don't even know planning the wedding. Okay, next. Movies, and he would not stop kissing my head. Pass. If I tell you, if a man kissed, boy, teenager, man, whoever, kissed my head in a movie on our first date, I would have been stunned. I don't know if I would have gotten up and left and been like, hey, mom, come get me, or what. That is absolutely wild. Again, did we know him? Was this a blind date? Like, that is crazy to me. Kissing your head on a first date. Oh, that makes me feel icky inside. He hit a car while parking. Can you imagine? Oh, that would be terrible. This person said never had one, but that's also a guy. So maybe he doesn't know that maybe he was the bad first date. Maybe he's delusional. We don't know, but he's a good one. So I'm just saying that because he's a friend and we can joke with friends. But I know I did message him and I was like, no bad first date, ... And he's like, not that I can think of, but maybe it was, yeah, maybe we don't know. We'll just let him think that. Okay, this next one. Didn't look like profile at all. Went to a comedy show. He was called up on stage. They serenaded him. I have a video. We never spoke again. Guys, that is spooky. To go on a date and he didn't look like the profile at all. Like, make it make sense. Like, I feel like I look exactly like what I look like on Instagram. Like, people recognize me and they're like, oh, hey, I follow you. And I'm like, hi. Nice to meet you. So it's so weird to me that, like, how can you have a picture of yourself and it doesn't look like you? Scary. That's scary. Maybe it's AI. We don't know. So crazy that you just go on a date and you like never talk again. But also that's been me too. Went on a bad first date and never talked to again. I can't wait to tell you my story. Okay. Did a blind date where the guy forgot my name and just never addressed me the entire time. That's crazy. Never addressed you the entire time. Oh my gosh. How awkward is that? That's wow, couldn't remember your name? Dang. Next. went ice skating and got a concussion. Oh my gosh, that is terrible. That's terrible. Do you just like cut the date short right then and there and be like, hey dude, my brain just jumbled around in my skull. I need to go home. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, next. Went ATVing in Saratoga Springs, 2013 before development. Oh, she's saying that Saratoga Springs is now a bunch of homes and businesses, but before it was just land. When hunters started shooting at us. What in the freaking world? I would be so scared. That is literally not a fun first date at all. I wonder if you talked to him again after that, though. Okay, next. He wouldn't stop looking at my toes. I proceeded to ask if he had a foot fetish. He began blushing, then asked me if he could suck my toes in public. I said no. So what do? You say no, and then what? Like, what happens? Do you get up? Do you go home? Do you call someone to come get you? Like, what are the vibes? We need like an interactive podcast because I need to know, what is the protocol? That is absolutely crazy. Okay, next. This dude took my phone and went through all of my music, texts, and pictures. So odd. Good thing that was your bad first date and hopefully the last date, because that is so creepy, stalkerish. Like, what does he need? Why does he need to see all those things? That's so bizarre. That is like low-key so creepy. Okay, last one before I tell you guys my bad first date. He got a bloody nose. I spilled Gatorade all over my lap and it looked like I peed myself. That's a chaotic first date. Wow, he was bleeding. You were spilling. Dang. Yeah, dude, that's not a good vibe. Okay. We've made it to the end of the episode where I share my story. So I moved in high school and I had dated a little bit before I moved. So I had like fun guy friends, went to dances, all the things. Then I move and I'm a junior and I want to be talking to cute boys. I want to be going on dates. I want to be getting asked to dances. So I move, but we moved to this small town where everyone has grown up with everyone. Everyone has been going to the same school since kindergarten. They've been playing on sports teams their whole lives. Their parents went to high school together. Their parents are friends. They've been friends forever. So being the new person, I feel like not included. No one cares about me. They already have all their friends they've had for their whole lives. And so I wasn't meeting people as fast as I thought I would. And I can't remember how I met this guy because we didn't have class together. But I like felt like he was like kind of weird, like I can't remember. I have like the worst memory. So sorry I can't give every single detail, but I didn't have a class with this kid, but I knew him. I wonder if we had like mutual friends or something. But I was a junior, he was a senior, and he asked me if I wanted to hang out with, and I felt like it was like with a group. Like I thought it was going to be like, do you want to hang out with us? And I was like, yes. Didn't know him super well, didn't really know his friend group super well, but I was happy to just be included in a hangout. So we make the plans. He says he's going to come pick me up. And I feel like when he is like texting me to like give me info about like when he's going to pick me up and like what we're going to go do, I was like getting worried that this was like a date. And I was like, oh my heck. And so I am panicking and I'm like, I do not want to go on a date with this guy. I just wanted to like have some friends and be invited and hang out with other kids my age. So he picks me up and it's like so awkward. And we live in a small town. And so the town that we're going to is like 30 minutes away. And we're going to the coast and we're going to go like walk the boardwalk and get some dinner, which actually the dinner was so bomb. But the thing about me is your girl is picky. I like plain cheeseburgers. And I was so weird about everything. Like I was a bad date too. I will say that. I will admit that. I was probably being standoffish, and yeah, I was just like I was not trying to have a good time with this guy. So I'm a picky eater, like I said, and he ordered for me. Like, no, don't do that. Ask me what I want. So we got this cheeseburger, and it had like everything on it, and I'm not gonna like, I don't like that. And so he like brings it over, and I'm like, oh, I'm not hungry. And he was like, just try a bite. And I was like, okay. And I took a bite, and I'm like, okay, yeah, good, but I'm not hungry. Like, you didn't ask me if I wanted food. So we get food, and actually the place he took me to is actually such a bomb restaurant. So if I would have just ordered what I wanted, that would have been so great. But he didn't ask me what I wanted. He just ordered for me, and that was annoying. So anyways, and I don't think like he got stuff for both of us. I think he just got like a burger and a fry for us to like share. And I was like, no, dude, it's like, it's yours. You're good. Like, you eat it. And so that was like weird. And I was like bugged. And so I'm like, okay, well, oh, and I forgot to mention, this was around like the holidays. So I had a good out. So I'm about to tell you. So we're getting back in the car, and he was like, hey, so do you want to like go? I have like a blanket. We could like go lay in a field and look at the stars. And I was like, hell no. Hell no, I'm not going to do that with you. And so I lied, and I was texting a friend being like, dude, this is not good. Get me out of here. Like, this is not friends. This is not a friend group. This is just a guy taking me on a date, and I'm not vibing. And so I was texting a friend to be like, hey, you need to call me and like pretend to be my mom and like ask me to come home because we need to go to a holiday party. And so that's exactly what they do. They call, and they're like, hey, you need to come home. Like, we're going to this holiday party that we as a family need to go to. And so I was like, oh, dude, sorry, I can't go lay in a field and look at stars because I have to go to this holiday party. Which I'm like, why are we laying in a field if it's like, I don't know if it was like Halloween. Maybe it's Halloween. Because if we're going to go lay in a field, it's not like so cold. Anyways, so I get out of it, and he takes me home, and I don't have to go anywhere with my family. And so I get out of that bad date, but it doesn't end there. Now I have to avoid him at school till the end of school year. And that was brutal because he had a class before I had a class. I think it was art. So he always like stayed behind, and then like I had to waste time and get there right before the bell so he could leave, and then I could get there without having to mingle with him. And so I guess that's called ghosting. I ghosted him, but I didn't have a good time. He was just not a good date. And he was creepy. And why would you take a girl to go look at stars for their first date? And I didn't even want to go on a date with this guy. It was like a date I didn't know about. Anyways, so that was one of my bad first dates. And then yeah, we never had to talk to him again, but we did have to see him at school. But we did our very best to avoid him. Anyways, some of these stories were super funny. I wish I had a little bit more details for you about some of them. Like how that girl's worst first date was with her now ex-husband. Like, what was the date? Maybe I should follow up with her and tell you guys next time. But anyways, thanks for listening to my podcast. I always enjoy yapping and telling you guys all the things, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.